Today I want to break down a simple yet highly effective blueprint that I've used over and over and over to level up in my life and get results. You got to know where you're going in life. If you don't, you're going to get distracted. You're going to waste time. You're going to procrastinate. I'd rather take action towards a goal and fail than sit around and think about it. Because you know what that's going to do? Yeah, I might fail at that goal, but I'm going to learn, I'm going to grow, and I'm going to pivot. All entrepreneurs, all business owners, all successful people, all the individuals that you look up to take risks and they failed. It's part of the game. You got to be willing to just take action, okay? Stop fucking around, stop wasting time, do an audit of how you're spending your time, use Google Calendar, plan ahead, be accountable, and take massive action. Don't be scared to take risks because risk takers pay off. Welcome back to another episode of the Unstoppable Mindset Podcast. I'm your host, Sean Crane. Appreciate you guys being here listening to this message. Make sure to subscribe, like, and share with somebody who you know needs to level up in their life and wants some value. Today, I want to break down a simple yet highly effective blueprint that I've used over and over and over to level up in my life and get results. I'm always thinking about a message that I can share with my audience to simplify what it takes to be successful in life in a way that they can absorb the message, absorb the information, and apply it in their lives. And so there's three things that I want to share with you today that I've done over and over, incessantly, from the time I was in prison, from the time I got sober, the time I got out, the time I started my family, the time I started my business, to this very day. It's a process that I can rinse and repeat over and over and over to keep achieving my goals in life. And so the first thing is that you must have clarity in where you're going and what change you want to make in your life. That's the first step. I don't care right now if your main objective is to get sober, if you want to improve your financial situation, if you want to lose weight, if you want to improve everything all at once, right? The first step is understanding what that change looks like. And so what you want to do is simply write it down on a piece of paper. That's the start of the process, right? Literally get a piece of paper and draw a line down the middle. And on one side, write positive change. On the other side, write letting go of or negative things, right? Because what you want to do when you get clarity around your vision, because your vision is the first thing you need. You need a vision. You need to know where you're going. Okay. Just like if you were going to get in a car and drive across country, you'd put in coordinates to a GPS so you had a roadmap. You got to know where you're going in life. If you don't, you're going to get distracted. You're going to waste time. You're going to procrastinate. But once you clarify your goals and where you're going, it's a lot easier to eliminate distractions. It's a lot easier to say no to certain things or people, right? Someone wants to go out to the bar on Friday night and you're like, no, I got to get up early tomorrow, right? Someone wants you to take a trip with them. You're like, no, actually, I got to work. I got things that I'm doing, right? When you have clarity and you have a vision, it starts to create that urgency and that direction that you need in life. So if you don't know what you want, because the first step is articulating or clarifying what you want and being honest with yourself. If you don't know what you want, a simple exercise is to do what I call a brain dump. It's to get a piece of paper and draw a line down the middle. And on the right side, just write those single words or those sentences that describe all those things you want. So from my own example, I'm going to go back 13 years ago when I started changing my life. If I did this exercise on the right side, it'd say sober. It'd say fit. It'd say outgoing and charismatic. It'd say smart and educated. It'd say family man. It would say business owner. It would say pursuing my passion. It would say, no limits. It would say all these things that exemplified who I wanted to be and actual things I wanted to achieve. And on the other side of the paper, things that I no longer wanted in my life, things that didn't serve me, things that I knew had to change, I'd write like no more drugs and alcohol, new friend group. Get away from toxic relationships, move away from my family. I would just start to write things down that I needed to eliminate. Sometimes when it comes to vision and goal setting, it's just as important to know what you don't want as it is to understand what you do want. And so one of the easiest ways to start to clarify your vision is to write it out on paper. And you got to be honest with yourselves, because a lot of times people have things they want to change and do in their lives, but they're not willing to articulate it because they're scared. If you're not willing to articulate your goals or the changes you want to make, they're never going to come into fruition. They're never going to materialize in your life. You just have to understand that. Now, the second thing that you need is to take action. right? So the first piece is having a vision. The second thing you need is action. And I mean massive action. A lot of times when people start writing out their goals and they think about things they want to change, they want to wait for this perfect moment where the stars align, where it's just easy and 100% guaranteed that they're going to be successful. And those people wait forever until they die. They never take action. But the person that's willing to lean into their goals, fail forward, so to speak, and just take massive action and just learn as they go, that's the person that starts to build momentum. Like every goal I've had, everything that I want to achieve, as soon as I have the idea, as soon as I can clarify the goal, I start moving towards it. And whatever that looks like, it might be a couple small actions right away. It might be a phone call. It might be looking something up on Google, right? It might be doing research, reading a book. I don't care what it is. You got to start taking action towards your goals immediately, because that starts to build momentum, but it also gives you a feeling inside of like, I'm doing it. I'm actually going towards what I want. And that is so important to build a pattern in your life of being an action taker, where you identify with someone who goes after their goals, someone who achieves what they want, not someone who procrastinates, not someone who lets fear dictate how they move and doubt stop them in their tracks. So this is very important. Action taking is key. I'd rather take action towards a goal and fail than sit around and think about it, because you know what that's going to do? Yeah, I might fail at that goal, but I'm going to learn, I'm going to grow, and I'm going to pivot, and I'm going to keep going. And then the next time I'm moving towards a goal, because I'm not scared to take action, I'm a fucking action taker. That's the identity that I'm forging. Maybe I'm going to be successful. Maybe I'm going to be ultra successful on that next endeavor, right? So what you're doing is you're training yourself to be someone that moves forward, someone that's not scared to take risks, someone that can stumble and fall down, but you get back up. That's way more valuable in life than somebody that's just scared to take action and you're waiting for that perfect opportunity and you're not willing to take risks. All entrepreneurs, all business owners, all successful people, all the individuals that you look up to take risks and they failed. It's part of the game. You got to be willing to just take action, you guys. Massive action is what creates results. I've never met anyone that thought themselves into results, but I know a lot of people that have acted their way into results, meaning they've produced results by taking action over time. And here's the thing, a lot of times your goals and the things you want to achieve are going to take a lot longer to materialize in your life than you think. And this is why the third component might be the most important. This is the third thing that I constantly utilize in my life to stay focused, to keep moving forward despite the circumstances I'm facing. That is faith. Faith that if I keep doing the right thing, it's going to work out. Faith that if I don't quit and give up, somehow, some way, I'm going to achieve my goals. Faith that everything's going to be okay and I just got to keep doing the right thing each and every day. This is so key. Whether it's you changing your life and losing weight and going to the gym and seeing your body transform, or you're running a business like I am and you have tons of ups and downs, training people, earning revenue, economic circumstances and factors that affect your business. Like there's a million things that go into being an entrepreneur that are going to test you and stress you out. Faith is the most important thing to have in those times. And I can't articulate to you how many occurrences I've had where I was facing massive challenges in my life, but I was persistent with my actions. I had the vision, so I knew where I was going, and I just had faith that if I kept showing up, if I kept doing the right thing, if I kept working the play, that it was going to work out in my favor. It always fucking does. And a lot of times it works out better than expected. And the times that it doesn't, those are learning lessons, and you pivot and you keep moving forward anyway. Oftentimes God's plan is going to be different than your plan. And what you think the outcomes need to look like or what your expectations are, they're different. Or the path that you get to your goals, sometimes it's a little altered. It's not that direct route that you expected it to be. But when you have faith, you know what it does? It enables you to show up for just one more day. Just one more day. And sometimes that can be the difference between you quitting and giving up and throwing in the towel, or figuring out how to overcome that problem, find a solution, and moving forward. And this blueprint that I'm sharing with you guys is what I've done all the way from my time in prison. When I was in prison, like I said, I got very clear on who I wanted to be. It was an image in my mind. It was a feeling inside of me. I just knew who I wanted to be. Most of you know who you want to be. You have an idea. You have a feeling inside of you, just like I did. And so that's the first piece, is having that clarity. The second piece, though, where a lot of you fail to take action or fall short, is to actually move towards that vision, to do something about it. Quit that job you hate, leave that toxic relationship, throw away all your alcohol, hire a coach to help you get fit. Whatever it is, there's no action. And you guys, the action's probably going to be something that scares you. It's going to be something that gets you out of your comfort zone. That's how you change. If you want to change your life, you must change first. And it's going to be uncomfortable because it's something new and different. You haven't done it before. So recognize that going into it. And if it's not scaring you, if it's not creating apprehension, if it's not causing you to have butterflies in your stomach, it's because you're not actually pushing yourself hard enough. The change you're going after is not big enough. You're still settling. You're still in your comfort zone, right? So in prison, every day I'd get up and just do burpees, read books, and focus on personal development. I would do anything and everything I could in my environment to change. You know how much faith I had to muster up on a day-to-day basis to make sense of those actions? Like, can you imagine knowing that you have 5 years left? What's the point of doing freaking burpees today? Like, what's the point of reading this book? What's the point of anything when you got 5 years left waking up in a concrete box? But I had vision and I was willing to take action because I wanted to get to that place in my life. And then I believed that somehow, some way it was going to work out as long as I kept doing the right thing. That if I put out the good energy, the positive energy, the fight, the drive, the desire that I had inside of me into the universe, into the world, it was going to be reciprocated. That's faith right there. Faith is doing the right thing and taking massive action, even when there's no end in sight, even when there's no guarantee of your success. And I did it for so long and it worked. And I got out of prison and I did it again and it worked. And I started my business, Unstoppable 365, and it's working today. And so this is the blueprint that I can rinse and repeat over and over and over. Circumstances change, goals change, but the fundamentals of how to achieve those goals are very much the same. Have a vision and get as much detail around that vision so you have clarity as possible. What that's going to do is going to eliminate distractions, and it's going to give you a focal point to aim for each and every day. Number 2, take massive action. Take more action than you're taking right now. You're capable of way more. Okay, stop fucking around, stop wasting time, do an audit of how you're spending your time, use Google Calendar, plan ahead, be accountable, and take massive action. Don't be scared to take risk, because risk takers pay off. You might take a couple L's along the way, but you're gonna get way further in life if you're willing to take calculated risks than if you're one of those scared motherfuckers sitting on the sidelines. And number 3, faith. Faith in God's plan. God's plan's bigger than yours. Faith that if you put in the work, it's going to pay out. Faith that if you just keep marching on this path and you don't quit and give up and you keep showing up, somehow, some way, it's all going to be okay and work out in your favor. I'm telling you guys, I'm living proof that this works. Apply it in your life. Share this message with someone that needs to hear it, and let's go change the world together.